Alright, I figured this time around, we take it back to something a little bit old school. Strengthening Magecraft, otherwise known as reinforcement. If you're looking to kill two birds with one stone, you've come to the right place. The process that you see between strengthening is a detailed analysis of a particular object, channeling energy through it, and thereby increasing its effective output. What makes this so difficult is that by law, the nature of an object is already established. So by pouring your magical energy into an object, you are tampering with its design. You're going against the nature of what it is. Different objects can lead you to different outcomes, but for the most part, this could end up fatal. Improper results is akin to flooding the object with poison, and doing this in the wrong manner will probably kill you. If the process is done incorrectly, not only are you going to fail enhancing the object, but you're going to end up breaking it down from what it already was. This is why most of these mages choose to skip out on this skill, which is funny because this is the skill that Kirisugu decided to teach Shiro. It's simple to cast at face value, but when it comes to making it useful, you're going to need to be prepared to take it to a whole nother level. Shiro, for example, has tried this Magecraft a numerous amount of times, only to come up making the object less effective than it was before, or completely hollow because he could only maintain its appearance. Many of these sessions can be found in the novel when he was training with Rin. Now, in the event that you are able to get things going the right way, the first time that we get to see this in action is when Shiro is getting chased throughout his home by Cuchulainn. When he realized that he was outmatched by the weapon that Ku had, he grabs a poster off the wall, analyzed its composition, and dumped magical energy into it until he turned it into a weapon with the same hardness as pure metal. Another perk that he was allowed to add on top of this is that since the object was originally a poster, it was able to maintain the same amount of weight. Now, the weapon that he has is arguably more practical than having the actual thing. And if you take a look at different parts of the Fate universe, you'll see several scenarios where strengthening can really save your life when you're in a bind. Looking over at the Fate route, you have the scene where Shiro escaped from the Ironsburn castle and he was able to use a variation of strengthening to create a new weapon. This variation is called Alteration, and it draws the line between reinforcement and projection to give a new shape to the object's original form. Instead of it just having greater effectiveness than the original, with proper readjustment, he can make the material from the original object into something else entirely. With that in mind, he was able to create his very own wooden bow just by taking off one of the tree branches that he found nearby. Of course, using a bow like this against Heracles is like throwing pillows, but the idea of the fact is that he was able to make something out of nothing when his back was against the wall. You have the scene from UB-Dub with Rin and Medea. I mentioned this in one of my videos before. Magecraft from the Age of Gods? Who cares? That day, Rin gave 0 fucks. And this was yet another aspect that reinforcement can get into. Not only can you reinforce the objects in the physical world, but you can also reinforce parts of your body to make them stronger. In this case, she was able to reinforce her legs and her arms, which allowed her to put her skills in martial arts to greater use. Same thing with Saber. By normal standards, it would be impossible for a mere human to rock with a servant on Saber's level. But when you take Medea's reinforcement into consideration, you have Kazuki out here tossing Saber around like she's a ragdoll. This man gained the strength and the agility to chokeslam her and throw her to the side like a bag of garbage. This was only a byproduct of shock factor, but still a feat on his end nonetheless. You have a scene at the beginning of UB-Dub when Rin was trying to evade Ku. She realizes that she's stuck at the top of the building with nowhere to run, so what does she do? She reinforces her legs in a manner that's similar to Mana Burst so she can jump off of the building. Something that was on a much smaller scale but still effective is when Shiro flat out punched the Zoth dagger into Kirei at the end of the Fate route. When he came to the conclusion that just serving the dagger up with a regular hit wouldn't do the job, he combined his punch with a portion of his magical energy. In other words, reinforcing his hands. Two-piece with that magic punch, my guy. Sounds like a fire combo to me. If you peep game at Prisma Ilya, you have Shuro in his fight against Shinji, where he reinforced his phantasms with magical energy. This is very similar to Emiya's broken phantasms. Just packing his magical energy into these arrows alone can make the powers of his shots multiply when it comes to giving out damage. You have the fight with Kirisugu and Kirei that shows us the magnitude that you can endure when you reinforce parts of your body. When Kirisugu was using his time altar, Kirei realized that he had no chance of avoiding that shot. So he used a command spell to just take the bullet to the hand instead. Instead of him just going down without the sauce, he reinforced his hand to take the bullet head on and then kept on fighting with one arm. This man is a true work of art. You know that? Freak of nature, ladies and gentlemen. Freak of nature. In addition to doing this on defense, you can also do this on offense. Bazette is one of the many people that works with the association, but she also shows up in Prisma Ilya. In her fight against Ilya and Kuro at the same time, she is reinforcing her punches along with her rune magic to put out bigger hits when she gets close by. When I say bigger hits, I mean she is literally punching trees in half and then swinging the broken half of the tree like the fucking Hulk. You can't do nothing with this type of shit. We saw Kirei do the same thing against Irisville when he broke the tree that tied him down in Fate Zero. Lastly, I do want to bring up that there are scenarios where you might not want to use this craft for fighting, but you still want to make your opportunities more accessible. One of the things that Kirisugu mentioned in the Zero novel is that on top of using his night vision scope, he likes to pour magical energy into his eyesight to give him more clarity when he's in the darkness. The same circumstance can be said about Shuro at the beginning of Fate. The moment that he noticed that there was somebody at the top of the building, he was able to increase the intensity and the precision of his eyesight to recognize that it was actually Ren Tosaka. Mind you that this building is probably at least 20 stories high from where he was on the ground, and he could barely see her then. So yeah, even though reinforcement may be a hard magecraft majority of the time, when it's initiated the right way, it can give you a quick get out of jail free card if you know what you're doing. Just make sure you don't mess that up. By the way, I just started streaming on Twitch this past week. I've been streaming pretty much all day, every day I can possible. So if you want to roll over there and chop it up and do some farming with me, be sure to check out that link in the description. And shout out to the people from the Twitch chat that helped make this video. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Shout out to all the patrons, and I will be back with more Tight Moon content. It is your boy Tsiah. I'm out.